So how do you know if you yourself is actually a good man? What standards do you hold yourself to? Let's talk about it.
I was just patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating.
What is going on, my men? In this video, the time has come for us to start looking inward, for us to start gauging where we are in reality, being real with ourselves before we go out here and criticize anybody else. What about yourself? You know, they always say when you point at somebody, you got one finger pointing at them and four pointing back at you. So it's time for us to go ahead and look at those other fingers and see what we find out. This applies to me, every man. Every man is accountable under these circumstances and under these standards, guidelines, however you want to look at it. Now, I know there's going to be some women that watch this and say, finally. Okay. Most men do this to themselves regularly. And there are still men who accept wise judgment, and there are still men who allow other people, friends, family members, their mother, people criticize us too. And they tell us about ourselves, and then we take mental notes, and then we go about life in order to make these accomplishments and adjustments in our life. So, men, back to y'all. We sitting over here talking about women, their shortcomings, what they should do better, what they're doing to manipulate us. It could come off to some women like it's a vent session between us men. That's not the purpose of my channel. My channel is for encouragement reasons. We face facts, all of the above, everything. We are not exempting ourselves from any judgment or any standards or anything that needs to be upheld or upkept. Getting straight into it. I got 10 of them. These are 10 signs that you, yourself, as a man, haven't made it to being a good man. You might still be a male or a guy or a boy, but you are not a good man yet if you still do any of these things. Hope you're ready. Number 1, you still listen to your little head more than your bigger head. What this looks like, beyond what's obvious, is the men out there who will sleep with another man's woman, the men out there that can't pursue a woman for anything that's of value or internal other than what's between her legs, the men who grope and sexualize women, and that's all he does. He can't see beyond the sexual aspect of women as to why they'd be valuable. You ain't a good man. Like I said, you might be a boy or a male species or a guy. You might have all the same tools as a man, but you are not a good man. I'm not exempt. Number 2, you use women's vulnerability as leverage to gain something from them. If you are the type of guy that's hanging around with a woman, and this does go for those guys that are claiming to be just friends. We just friends. You hanging around waiting on your opportunity for her to be vulnerable and then slip and fall on your dick. You waiting on her boyfriend to mess up bad enough to where she comes to you and she vents and you're hugging on her. You're like, oh. Yeah, you are not a good man. Exit stage left. You might still be a boy. You might still be a guy or a male, but you are not a good man. Your intentions and your motives are fucked up. Number 3, you participate in abuse of any kind. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, financial abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, or sexual abuse. If you participate in any of those things, you are not a good man. Point blank. Now, we know what financial abuse is, using a woman for her money. We know what verbal abuse is, calling women out their name and insulting them and trying to cut them down with your words. Mental abuse is where you try to make somebody feel like they are crazy. Gaslighting, devaluing them, acting as if they are not of sane mind. Emotional abuse, always making them cry, always drawing an emotional response out of them, doing things to intentionally provoke them to anger. Sexual, keep your goddamn hands off these women if you did not have the consent. Or if she says stop, no or don't, that's your time to exit stage left again. Know why? Because you are not a good man. Number 4, you feel entitled to women simply because you want them. Men like you can have a woman at home sitting on the couch. You see another woman and you want her too. You think this is this not even a 99-cent store. It's a 0-cent store. You get anything you want for free. You just go out in the world and you're just picking women. And because you are entitled to them, if they tell you no, I'm not interested, well, fuck you then, bitch. That's why your shoes is like this. That's why your toes is ugly. Look at your weave. And now all of a sudden, this woman that you was attracted to, you are insulting. You are not a real man, and you are not a good man. Number 5, watching women suffer gives you a rush. It's exciting. Her begging you, her crying and fighting over you, her being unstable because of something that you said or did. And that feels good. It makes you feel powerful. You feel desired. You are not a good man. You're a coward. Number 6, you need a woman to financially sponsor your lifestyle without any reciprocity. You're a user. You're taking the whole bag. You know, there's a lot of men who live out here under the all on a bitch lifestyle. Everything they got belongs to or was given to them by a woman. I never understood that, because if she ever leaves you, you go right back to the bottom. You are not a good man. Nope. Not a good one. You got some work to do, buddy. Number 7, you disrespect your own mother. Not alone these women. Any woman can catch it. Who want it? You're a woman? Down to your own mother. You are not a good man. I don't know who told you. I don't know who hasn't told you. I'm going to be the first one to tell you. That I had to leave that one alone, because I will get infuriated by watching a man disrespect his mama. I will have to not be around you ever again. You show no grace. This is number 8. You show no grace, empathy, sympathy, compassion, remorse towards women at all. Grace implies that you might bless somebody with things that they haven't necessarily earned, or they might not even necessarily deserve it. Just like we don't deserve eternal life, but God died on the cross so that we can have it. That's grace. So if you have grace for a woman, then you'd give her chances. You'd be understanding. You'd be a little bit lenient towards her. empathy, sympathy. If I'm not mistaken, the difference between empathy and sympathy is when you can relate to the way somebody feels because you've experienced those feelings or that situation. Empathy is when someone is currently going through something that you may have never went through, but you can somehow still relate and you can somehow still connect with them emotionally on that subject. It's like somebody who lost their mother, but your mother is still living, and you just feel just as painful and damaged and ruined and hurt as they do, and watching them cry makes you cry. If you don't feel that kind of way about people in general, but for purposes of this video towards women, you are not a good man. Nope. That is not a good man. Number 9, you'd allow other men to disrespect your woman in any way, and then would probably have the nerve to accuse her of doing something that justifies these other men's behavior towards her. Bro, as men, by default, we protect. We protect our children, our family, and our women, our money, our peace. We protect. Let me elaborate, though, because we do live in a society where you can't just go around putting your hands on people, regardless of what they did, right? But there's ways that you can protect somebody. So if you see a man disrespecting your woman, you have 2 options. One, you can take the violent road and put hands on this man, which, in my opinion, jeopardizes everything because you don't know what that man has in his trunk, in his pocket, in his pants. And that simple altercation could turn into you not ever coming home again. Or you can remove your woman out of that situation swiftly, safely, confidently, after making it clear that we're not allowing nobody to disrespect my woman. Because your woman's probably going to be right there with you saying, come on, babe. Or she could be the one that's provoking the situation to get worse. And then now when there's some of this in the parking lot, everybody's life is at risk. I wouldn't even put my lady in a situation where we got to both jeopardize our freedom or our peace. Because I'm going to tell you one thing about me, and probably applies to a lot of men. Please don't tempt me. Please don't. As much as I love my kids, as much as I love my life and my freedom and my family and God, I don't want to be played with, and I don't want to be tempted because I might fail that test. Number 10. This is the number 1, but I put it last. Way that you know you are not a good man. If you felt triggered by anything I said, if your typing fingers is finna jump in the DMs, if you gonna click dislike on this video, if you got anything negative going in within your spirit that wars with anything I said, you are not a good man. This video is for the people that feel the way I feel. So they're probably going to hit like. They're probably going to share it. It probably does something for them. They are able to gauge where they're at and say, oh, I know I'm a good man because none of those things apply to me. And if 1 or 2 of those things apply to you, then now you're like, I got to work on that. And if you even said that to yourself, man, let me give you a virtual high five. But if you're one of these guys who call good men lame, goofy, sucker, simp, any of those derogatory terms, yes, baby. You're part of the problem, not the solution. If you don't know me, my name is Jerome. That's my baby right there. And this has been another episode of the Superb Word. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll be back with you shortly.